Okay, so we've been doing a couple of these examples now that have unit rates that involve fractions. And in most of the examples, we had kind of what we call unit fractions. So there was a 1 in the top number, the numerator there. And so if you look at the first problem, even on this page, eating 8 hot dogs in a quarter of an hour, well, hopefully you started to see that if it's 1/4, I'd have to multiply by 4 to make it 1. And so my answer would be 8 times 4, which is 32. That works really great when we do have the unit fractions. But what happens when we have 2/5 or 5/6 or 7/4? We can still multiply. We're going to end up multiplying by something called the reciprocal, which is the number kind of flipped upside down. But alternatively, we also can divide. And the reason that that works out is because the rule for dividing fractions is that you multiply by the reciprocal. So it ends up doing exactly the same thing. So, kind of up to you how you want to think about solving these problems, but I wanted to show you dividing as an option. Now, when you divide, the key thing you have to be careful of is the labels. When you know what you want your label to be, you have to divide the numbers in the right order. So, for example, in the first one, when it's talking about eating 8 hot dogs in a quarter of an hour, well, when we find a unit rate for the problem, do we want to know how many hot dogs per hour, like it says right here? Or do we want to know how many hours it takes to eat a hot dog? We really could find a unit rate in either of those. And so we could divide 8 divided by 1/4 or 1/4 divided by 8, but then we have to know what the label is and what our answer means so that we can use it. So that's my kind of big caution here. You have to be super careful with the labels. So let's go ahead and try some of these. So click on it, save to keep, open a new tab. Get to the pen. And here we go. Okay, so on this one, I'm actually going to color code my labels for myself just so that I can make sure they line up. Now, this particular paper here does line up pretty well, but I want to kind of get in the practice of doing this just in case they don't line up. So I'm just going through my problems and I'm finding one of the labels and color coding. And then I'll pick another color and do the other label. Okay, so when I go ahead and do this then, it's going to help me know what order I have to divide in. So the first one has hot dogs per hour. So that means I have to do my hot dog number divided by my hour number. So my hot dog number would be 8. So I got 8. Oops. And then we know we're going to divide. And we need our hour number, which is 1/4. So again, you have your calculator. Press 8 divided by 1, ABC, 4. And when you do that, you will come to our answer of 32. So again, it's 32 hot dogs per hour because we did hot dogs divided by hours. Let's try the next one. So 14 pieces of clothing and 2 fists an hour. So I got to do pieces of clothing first. So that's 14 divided by my hours number, which was 2/5. Okay, so when I figure that out, then I'm going to get, in my calculator, press 14 divided by 2, ABC, 5, and I get 35. Okay, so go ahead and what I want you to try now is doing number 3 and number 4. See if you can do it ahead of me. So go ahead and pause. right now. Try those problems. Well, I guess try the problems uh, and see if you can get them without me. So pause. Okay, so let's check your work. In this next problem, we should have had the miles number first, so 85, and then divided by my hour number, which was 5, 6. Oops, that didn't write well. 5, 6. So in your calculator, you are going to type 85 divided by 5 ABC 6. And you should have gotten an answer of 102 miles per hour. And the last one, we got to do our mile number divided by our minutes number. So 7/4 divided by 11. So in your calculator, you're going to press 7 ABC 4 divided by 11. And you should have gotten a fraction as your answer, which is 7/44 miles per minute. And we could actually also put that as a decimal if that's easier. It's a little bit of a long decimal, but it's about 0.16 miles per minute. So if that helps you understand a little bit more kind of what the answer actually means. So 1/6 is like, a little over a tenth of a mile. We're not quite to a quarter of a mile that it takes that the person can go per minute. So that's kind of the idea here. We're paying attention to the order of the labels. When we know what our answer has to be, we're dividing in that particular order. And I'll go ahead and paste. And there you go. Go ahead and answer your questions.